Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I really want to talk to you about MosDos. I hope I'm even saying that correctly, but holy crap, why are people not talking about this curriculum? If you've not heard of MosDos or you are interested in a curriculum that I am going to be using in the following year, please keep watching. Hit that subscribe down below so you don't miss any future videos from mine, and let's just get into it. All right, if you're not on Instagram or have not followed me already, please go check out my Instagram at Nickie_blessed_homeschool_mess. And that is where you're gonna see a lot of stories and stuff like that. Anyways, let's get into MosDos. I mean, this is MosDos Literature, MosDos Press Literature. We are doing 3rd grade Opal. There are 2 textbooks that come with the curriculum, 1 workbook that covers both textbooks, and 2 ginormous teacher manuals. Let's just talk about it. I don't even know how I came or remember how I came across MosDos, but I'm obsessed, and I think this is what I am most excited for in the upcoming school year. In 2nd grade, we tried to incorporate readers, level 4 readers from the Bookshark books, and honestly, it was a lot of just like reader and discussion questions, and I wanted something just a little bit more. So I'm glad I found this, because this is basically exactly what I was looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a flip through for you. This is the Sunflower book, and then there's Daisy. I'm not gonna get into Daisy too much because I have a manufacturer print error, so I am going to order a new book likely for that. It's hard, the pages are stuck together. So first things first is, it is very, very colorful. That was my #1 must have in a curriculum. It had to be colorful. I needed it to be this way because we just work better with colored curriculum. So this is going to go over all about stories. So you're going to have what is a story. You're going to have what is a plot, what are characters, what is setting, what is a theme, and then there's going to be stories underneath those themes that are going to go further in depth. So Unit 1 is all about the story. Unit 2 is all about the plot. What is internal conflict? What is external conflict? What is sequence? How is setting for a drama different? What is the main ideas? And then they always have a unit wrap up. Unit 3 is all about characters. Character traits, point of view, relationships in a story, cause and effect. What is biography? So this is only 3 units, and then the other textbook is 3 units as well. So let me grab that and show you what is in the Daisy textbook for units. Those pages I don't think are stuck together. As you can see, they're all I can go through and just kind of rip the page, but we'll see if that works or if I should order another one. Anyway, so this is Unit 4, all about setting. What are images, descriptive text, historical fiction, creating a setting. Unit 5, all about theme. What is an author's purpose? What is stated theme? What is implied theme? Drawing conclusions, compare and contrast. And the final one is the grand finale. The purpose of biography, reality and fantasy, and using dialogue. So, I don't know why more people aren't using this curriculum. This is a secular company, but I have been told that these stories you can likely pair up with a biblical story and dive further into the meaning of the stories. But I needed rich stories that didn't necessarily let's just show you what I'm talking about. I needed stories that were rich and engaging and had good meaning and life meaning, not just, I don't know, like a random book with just some questions. This is going so far into just comprehension questions. They have analytical questions and much more. So this is the first story, The Jar of Tasai. I hope I said that right. So it has an intro, it has the story elements, it has, oh here, Tasai. So it does have how to say it, and it has vocabulary as well on what's going to be in this story. So the stories are typically pretty short, and they're what she's going to be reading, and I love the graphics. So we plan to do this once a week, I hope. So then at the end of the story, it talks all about the author. It has a poem at the end of each story, and then it has a review and some focus questions and even some creating and writing questions. For instance, in the story, the governor gave Tasai a prize for doing a good deed. What do you think it was? Imagine that you're the governor. Write a letter to Tasai that describes the prize and thank her for her brave deed. I don't know how much writing I'm going to incorporate into this curriculum because we are doing a separate writing curriculum, but I got it because it just looked amazing. Then it has the lesson in literature and a different story. What is plot? Think about it. Questions to think about as she reads. And yeah, then this is another story. It does have a word bank. It does have vocabulary that I can incorporate in here. I love the color. I love the pictures. There's not too much on a page as far as words. And the stories are rich. So what I really wanted to give you a glimpse into is the teacher's manual. There are 28 stories in this. You could break this up to do one story for say every 2 weeks and really break apart the assignments per story, or you could do it every day and finish early. There's a lot of different ways. The problem is they don't give that schedule to you, so you kind of have to figure out how you're going to incorporate it into your homeschool. But the way I'm using it is that if there's 28 stories, we're just going to do it for 28 weeks. Give or take, I might be throwing in maybe an extra in here to kind of push it out to reach the 36-week mark. So here we go. The Jar of Tasai was the first book. The teacher's manual is in black and white, which is totally fine for me because that's just what I have to look at. It has exactly what the child will see in their textbook, so you can easily follow along with the child with your own reader. It has a whole intro on the side here, and it has in getting started, what to talk about, and kind of like what the story is going to be about the theme and topic in the story. And then on this side, it does have the literary components. So it has the exposition, the simile, the characterization. It has the literal questions and analytical questions with answers. And it has additional books, I think, or it has examples. So it says theme is the hardest element to identify. Drawing on our strategy of using prior knowledge, ask your students to identify the theme of a story known to all of them. Here's a simple example if you give a mouse a cookie. The theme is that sometimes if you do someone a little favor, they will keep asking for more and more. So it wants you to choose a book or story that has an obvious theme and that is known to most of the students. So it just, the way it's set up is very promising for me. This is more on the jar of Tasai, so we have more literary components on this page, more guided reading, literal and analytical questions, and where to find them in the passage, which is also really nice. And then it has more on this page. It talks about foreshadowing, characterization with poetic language, characterization. So just things to point out specifics while you're reading through. And I figure if we did this literally once a week, it would be perfect for us and our schedule. What I do really love is that there are tons of questions on every page of this story. So you're constantly interacting with your student as you're reading and getting their comprehension as they read. I can understand that maybe that might bother some kids as they're reading to constantly stop at the end of a page or whatever to catch up on conversation or questions. It also listed for me in the very beginning, it had the vocabulary. I think I may have put that. It talks about the poem and how it ties into the story. It has quick review, the focus, creating and writing, and first impressions. So I don't know, like I just feel like it's super thorough. It did have workbook pages listed at the beginning of that story as well. I don't know if I mentioned that to you guys already. But the very first page of the story of the Jar of Tasai, it has all the related vocabulary and what workbook pages and the answers to the workbook. So I don't know if the workbook is necessary. If that's something that you might want, you might even want to just focus on the story if you don't want to add in more like handwriting type work. So the workbook page for this specific week would be 2 through 7. So this is in color as well. It's not like colorful pictures or anything like that. So this is page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is all for the one story. We can work through what it talks about. You might not even need to do this if you didn't want to do it, but I'm hoping to do a few of these things independently, and then if she needs help with doing the others, to kind of dive in, because this is so thorough, I feel like, of a curriculum. This is going to be our spine of our language arts. Even though we're only doing this, I hope only doing this once a week, I might have to break it up because it does seem like a lot per story. So this one is a vocabulary fill in the blank, and it has the vocabulary at the top. This one is word family, is a word that is related to the vocabulary word. This one is all about a craft. So they're talking about when making an object requires special skill, it is called a craft. And then it wants you to choose a craft that you enjoy or know something about and write a paragraph about it. That I might not have her actually write out, but we can have a discussion on. Because like I said, we have a writing curriculum we are using as well. So this page is narrative elements. It is talking about plot, characters, setting, and main idea, and has examples and then circling the correct answer. And then on the last 2 pages of this story, this one is the 4 elements of a story and how to recognize it. So this one is talking about the plot, and it has fill in the blank style. This last page is plot, characters, setting, theme. It wants you to list 4 characters in the story, 4 settings in the story, and what the theme is. And then it wants you to decorate this jar that contains the theme, the main idea of the story. It tells you where the main idea is found and what that is. So it's going to be a lot of practice on character and all of that stuff, and that is exactly totally what we're looking for here. Really wish there was a scope and sequence that laid it out perfectly for me. I did message the company. They did not respond to me. I'm not sure why that is. But because in the teacher's manual, because it gives you so much information, how to work the program, how to teach the program. It just says the scope and sequence is an overview of the curriculum, unit by unit, and it lists the teaching concept for each of the lessons, the target, the strategy, the common core, the student workbook activities, and brief synopsises of that. So this is their version, but it's not, they do have a scope and sequence. It's just not a schedule per se on how to work this into your routine at home. But I am really excited. I really hope that she enjoys this. I'm really loving the color, and the stories sound really hopeful and really great, and I can't wait to dive into it. Please let me know in the comments, is there anything you have a question about with the curriculum? I know that they do come in Timber Doodle kits, and I have they do have their own website. You can also order from Christian Book and on Rainbow Resource. So lots of different areas to pick up the book. I believe I ordered from Rainbow Resource. But it was literally the same price everywhere, like no discounted rate. It is kind of pricey. I believe it's $166 for the entire curriculum. But if you really wanted to start with just one textbook, and if you didn't want to use the teacher guide, like I can see this being extremely inexpensive if you just wanted to read the stories and do the questions that were in here, because I think that would be plenty enough, or if you wanted to pair the workbook. So I'm really excited about this, if you can't tell by my enthusiasm, but That's probably the one thing I'm super looking forward to. If I'm going to turn this around and just kind of give you a little bit more of a flip through from the workbook and everything in the last half of this video. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've heard of MosDos and why or why not that you would choose them. Or if you have, has it worked out for you, or why it hasn't? I'd love to know. I feel like this is not talked about. I've researched videos and there's only a very select handful. And so I'm very curious to hear anyone else's thoughts who have heard of this or not. But that is it, my friends. I will see you in my next video. But stay tuned for an extended flip through.